Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time to join us on this very important afternoon. My name is Walter Tejada. I have the privilege to be chairman of the Arlington County Board for 2013. Today, hopefully everyone has had a chance to get a copy of the program. We will first have the color guard presentation. We'll have a national anthem. And then we'll have the electoral presentation for our, and then the clerk of the court will then swear in our guest of honor today, Mr. Fisette. And so I tell you, I'm privileged to be here and preside over this meeting, and we appreciate the company of many of our elected officials who are here and other folks who've joined us. Everyone is special, everyone's important. And I see we have county board members Mary Hines, Chris Zimmerman, Libby Garvey are here. And we also have our county manager, Barbara Donnellan. And joining us is Treasurer Frank O'Leary. And I think I saw State Delegate Ralph Kopika back there. And just looking around the room, make sure I don't miss anyone. Any other elected officials, please raise your hand. Oh, I couldn't see that. Okay, I finally see the audience was black. The school board chair, Abby Raphael, is with us. And a school board member, Noah Simon, is here as well. And Emma Viola Sanchez, where is Emma? Oh, there she is as well. And the superintendent of schools, Patrick Murphy. And let's see who else. Missed anybody else? All right. I think we got everybody covered, more or less. So thank you, everyone else, for joining us for this very important occasion. So we will have first presentation of the colors, and then followed by our singing of a national anthem. Will everyone please rise?
Color. Halt. Hold. Present. On.
The national anthem will be sang by Lisa Godkin-Hoskins. Lisa?
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the rapids we waters were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color. Right shoulder. On. Color. Port. On. Color. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. So as just before our next speaker comes up, I have to say that it's a celebration in Arlington County to have someone now elected 5 times to the county board for full terms, and who has made a significant contribution in not just in our community, but around the region and the state. So we're fortunate that Mr. Fisette decided to run for re-election, and now will be serving another term here in the county. Well known for many issues. He's not the only one to focus on environmental issues, but certainly we know that quite well. He's an authority when it comes to those issues, as well as many others that Arlington is well known for, issues of make sure that everyone in our community feels welcomed, and that we truly live up to when we say that we believe in equality. So he exemplifies that, and has led quite well in our community for many, many years. We're delighted to get to work with him again as he serves his next term. So let me now call Charlene Bickford, who's the chair of the Electoral Board. Charlene.
Yes, we'll need you. Yeah, Bob too, sure. We're not going to swear you in. That's not. Good evening. I'm Charlene Bickford from the Arlington County Electoral Board, and I have my colleagues Scott McGarry and Alan Harrison here. We've just all come from the recount today, so it's been a big electoral board day. And it's my pleasure to certify that after the November 5th election, the Electoral Board met, and on November 8th, we determined that GNJ Fisette had been elected to another 4-year term on the Arlington County Board, beginning January 1st, 2014, and ending December 31st, 2017. Congratulations, Mr. Fisette.
Jay, if you're willing to stay up here and allow me to administer the oath. Before I do, I just wanted to quickly thank you for a number of things. The first thing I wanted to thank Jay for is for not having a close election that resulted in a recount. I experienced my first recount this morning along with the Electoral Board members and the Registrar's Office, and your victory was a resounding one, Jay, representing your commitment to the Arlington community. There's lots that we have to thank you for, but my thanks and that of many in the Arlington community is that you're willing to continue to serve. You're someone that's done quite a bit. Your experience is something that's really going to continue to pay off for Arlington in the years ahead. Your commitment to Arlington and the issues that are important to Arlington are without question. So a big thank you, both from myself and I know from the entire Arlington community, as was evidenced by your resounding victory. So now, Jay, would you please raise your right hand? And if you want to put your, raise the right, and if you want to put the left wherever you'd like it. Right. Do you, Jay Fisette, solemnly swear or affirm that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge all the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Arlington County Board for a term commencing January 1st, 2014 for 4 years, according to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations, Jay.
Sign it now? I better put, I think I'll put the original one, right?
Okay. Thank you.
I stay here, right? Okay. Hi, everybody. This won't be long, I promise. I have to reapply when I decide to do this. I reapply. I don't know how many of you out there are in jobs where you have to fill out another application form and get some signatures and go through a hiring process, and I spent part of the last year doing that. And it's tiring, it's challenging, and it's also very gratifying, because in that process you learn more about the community that you are here to represent. You learn more about yourself. You are challenged, you have to explain things, and you listen, and in the end, hopefully you're better at what you do. And that brings me to the thank you part. I see a lot of faces I recognize, a lot of people I know, friends and neighbors and campaign workers and campaign managers. So you don't do this, I mean, most of us need support in our lives, and you don't do what those of us in elected office do very lightly, and you certainly don't do it without help and support. And the first thing I want to say is thank you to all of you that helped in one way or another through the year, through the campaign, through my life, and provided that backdrop for this effort, and I do appreciate it. To my 4 immediate colleagues, Chris, Walter, Mary, and Libby, thank you all. It's just it's a joy, really. And I say that seriously, and I say that in relation to what a lot of other people in local office have to deal with. And there are other electeds in this room. And you were mentioned, you were identified earlier. So a special thanks. Everyone is special, as Walter said, in the room. But a special thanks to those of you that have that shared experience, and some of you that hope to have that or plan to have that shared experience. I do appreciate what you do and that you're here joining in with us today. The county staff, I say it all the time, you make us look good. You make me look good every day. And you're on the front lines. You're the face-to-face, implementation of what we try to all create as a community. And we are so proud of the work that you do for us and for this community every day. This board, many of you know that, hires 3 people. And I do want to call them out. Our county manager, Barbara Donnellan, Steve McIsaac, the guy in the back of the room looking worried, is our county attorney. That's just what attorneys do. And our clerk, where's Hope? She's doing some work back there, Hope Halleck. That's it, we hire 3 people. Whoa! We have 3 people, and they do great work for us every day. So really, you're top notch. Thank you very much. I also want a little shout out to my multi-talented aide, Liza Hudskins, who sang the national anthem for you today. Let's give her another round of applause. And finally, the family part of this. My family is here, my immediate family with Bob, and I now can say I want to introduce you to my husband, Bob, which is, it literally, honestly, it does not roll off my tongue yet. It is a little bit of work. I mean, just like everybody else, I've got to adjust to that word and to that reality. But a quick little snippet, sort of sharing, as many of you know, we did get married in September, right in the midst of the campaign. And people ask me, well, why did you decide to do it? Well, Bob doesn't always like when I bring this up. He winces a little bit, but I always say, well, it's when the IRS made its ruling. It's a little deeper than that, but the truth is, that was what made us look ahead, and they're on our 30th anniversary 12 days later, so we had 12 days to plan. We thought it would just be the 2 of us. But in fact, having let our family know and that this was happening, our mothers invited themselves, as did my sister, and it became a small group. And the part I loved the most was my dad's comment. Some of you may have heard this. My brother called me the week before and said, Jay, I talked to Dad, and I asked him if he was going up to your house with Mom. And he said, why? What's going on? And I said, my brother said, well, Bob and Jay are getting married. And he said, they are? I thought they were already married. which I take in a really positive way as the way the world should be, right? So and I see Bob Brink just came in, another one of a delegate. Thank you, Bob, for being here. Arlington welcomed me and welcomed Bob and me early on, embraced us as this community does for so many people. And you know, I have embraced it back, hook, line, and sinker. It is an amazing community that we live in, that we've created, that we inherited, and that we created. And don't let anyone tell you anything different. It was a great fit for me from the beginning. You know, it's about good government. As I began to learn about it, and first I was in an apartment, then we got our house 26 years ago, 27 years ago. You move in, you become part of a neighborhood. The good government, the thoughtfulness, the demanding yet caring citizenry that live here and participate in the decision-making of this community, that we celebrate our differences and are inspired and activated by the challenges and the innovation and creativity that we bring to our problem solving. It's a high-performing place. It's not for the faint of heart. I see over the last 20 years how this community, and I said this in the campaign, has evolved from a sleepy bedroom community into a vibrant urban place. And at the same time, we have been able to retain the caring and the connectedness that we had when we were much smaller and much quieter. Someone told me a story the other day about they were walking up the side of the street, and they saw up in front of them, a ways down the road, a little girl standing at a bus stop. And they could tell that she looked scared, and she had maybe missed her bus, and she looked like she needed some help. But before she got to that person, a county employee who was a meter maid or giving tickets to people who were illegally parked wandered over and did the same thing. And embraced that little girl, asked her what was wrong, and helped her. I thought that was a great story. It's like the guy, when the leaf truck comes down, you hear this one. The guy who didn't get his leaves out in the street in time, and the guy helping with the leaf truck walks out and helps him rake the leaves into the yard, just because it's the right thing to do. That's the kind of community I want to live in. That's the kind of community we do live in. And we can't take it for granted, ever. Out in the campaign trail, I occasionally use the term urban anomaly when people had issues or, questions and what are our warts, and I would say, we're on the cutting edge, how many places in this country over the last 50 years were urban and dense cities and had really good public schools that have grown to outstanding public schools in urban places. Doesn't happen very often. Where crime has gotten lower as we've gotten denser and more urban. Those are things that we can't take for granted. The only thing in life that's constant is change, right? Stability is an illusion. And as I said on the campaign trail, Arlington is dynamic. There is nothing stagnant about us. And my job, as I see it, is to help refine those plans as we keep moving forward with new technology and new ideas, to help ensure that the community has a voice, as it engaged, and we hear from everybody, and then to help manage that transition, that ongoing transformation, that change, which is not easy for a lot of people to deal with. So in the end, I think we have a vision. As we keep moving towards and implementing that vision, we have a vision that proudly states our commitment to inclusiveness, to respecting the differences among us, the importance of each person, and at the same time, we have conservative fiscal principles and budget policy, and we balance our budget every year, and those policies guide our expenditures. We have resources, and we also leverage those resources to get the best value. We have a safety net to take care of those most vulnerable. At At the same time, we encourage individual responsibility from top to bottom. And we have an ability, local governments are supposed to plan, but not all of them do the same kind of work we do. We plan 10, 20, 30, and 50 years out. And we think long-term, and we make investments for the long term, not just for tomorrow. It's a problem in the public sector and the private sector. And we've gotten really good, not perfect, but good, at looking long-term. That sustainability, that will be important to all of us. So I believe we lead for today and tomorrow, that we balance a strong heart and a sound mind, and then we are always open to new and creative ideas. Excuse me. Just thirsty, just a second. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's serious business, this Arlington stuff, but a sense of humor is required. I just want to, in conclusion, express my appreciation to all of you for everything you do for all of us, for this community, and for what you have done in supporting me. My respectfulness of the community that we live in and that we will continue to make better, and my eagerness and readiness, and it surprises me sometimes, by the way, after 16 years to still have that. I wasn't sure I would, but I do. And I look forward to continuing to work with all of you to move this community forward to an even better future. So thanks again. The official ceremony is now finished, and there are goodies in the lobby. Thanks.
Indeed, congratulations, Jay. We look forward to working with you, and our community looks forward to you continuing to provide the leadership you've been doing for all these years. One person that spoke here that actually swore in Jay, but wasn't mentioned, whose name, for those of you who for some reason may not know who that was, he used to come to this county boardroom quite a lot and is familiar with. He's now the clerk of the courts, Paul Ferguson. Yeah. So as Jay mentioned, there will be a reception starting now to celebrate his swearing in. At 6 p.m., you probably have more people come in, as some folks will be coming in from 6 to 6:25 for a meet and greet, and there will be a refilling of food. Actually, there's some. I understand there's some fruit that may be served around 6, so that will add a little more to the repertoire of what you might find out there. At 6:30, I will deliver a state of the county as for all the residents of Arlington, so you'll see where we are as a community through this year. We invite you to not go anywhere and join us, but for now, we want to thank you for taking time to be here this afternoon and be part of this very special ceremony. Let's go out there and celebrate and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.